If you like this video, hit that subscribe button. I put out new Storybook Brawl videos every single day at 9:30 p.m. EST, and turns out most of you guys aren't subscribed yet, so what are you waiting for? I'm a pretty small channel, so I do also pay a lot of attention to comments and likes, so let me know what type of content you guys want to see. Enjoy the video. What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we are going to take a look at a Storybook Brawl game where I play up against Redraim, the #1 rated player for the month of November in Storybook Brawl. Redraim was also rated, I believe, 3rd or 4th during the month of October. So yeah, a very good player, and in this game you'll be able to see why. You'll see exactly what it takes to get to the top of the Storybook Brawl leaderboard. You are done watching, you want to see what it takes to really be the best, right? Well, we are going to see the undisputable tactic to get you to that rank 1 slot, if that's what you want to see. So that's what we're going to take a look at in this game and see just how Redraim does it. What is the secret to their success? But in the meantime, we got a game to play. We gotta get to the point where we are even fighting up against Redraim. And to be honest, off the top of my head, I don't know which of these heroes they are. We'll figure that out as we go along here, and that is who we will be up against in the finals. But a decent start here with Merlin. We've found some castable spells, and we've at least won our second combat. We lost our first one because we just took a prince here for a little bit. There's an interesting kind of decision point here, but I guess it's not really that interesting, because if we buy the shrink spell first, it's not like we can purchase any additional things. So might as well just spend... Is that true? No, if we had purchased the shrink spell first, we could have bought the unicorn. So I apologize, that was just wrong. We could have purchased the unicorn had we gone for the shrink spell first, but the Wizard's Familiar would not have gotten the +1/+1. So I'm going to effectively turn a gold into a +1/+1, which is just a magic research. It's fine. That's a spell that anybody would cast. It's totally acceptable. And we're going to wind up having a pretty strong board here on this third turn, but Headless Horseman can always have a pretty strong board as well. Looks like we will be able to get some trades off. No, we won't quite be able to. That had to attack into the Minotaur. So I guess we were 50-50, huh? We needed to win 2 50-50s, and we won the first one, lost the second one. That's fine. Can't win them all. Can't win them all. The Genie's Wish seems really good here. We can buy the Vampire plus the Unicorn plus the Genie's Wish. I'm going to buy the Genie's Wish before we purchase the Unicorn, and that is simply because I do not want the Merlin triggers to go onto the Unicorn. That said, I do think that this board is decently strong for us here. This Vampire seems like it will be able to slay because we got this Mad Mim going on, and then we just have some solid units. So despite not even flipping over the Lonely Prince yet, it is already a 10-8 because we've just had it for so long. I believe the Luna's Grace went onto the Wizard's Familiar, but maybe that's where the Luna's Grace went. Maybe that's why it's looking so large right now. Not going to slay with a 1/4 there, buddy. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're looking definitely big against this beauty here. And that is going to be a pretty easy win. Deal 7 damage to the beauty. And then we get to pick up a pair on the Vampire. Could go for a shrink spell and then purchase Vampire plus Witch. That seems like it would be pretty strong. So yeah, let's do that. We do get the trigger onto the Mad Mim, which I think we were going to cut, but maybe now we just don't cut it. Yeah, we just play it instead of the Fanny. And this seems fine. Now we've got 3 or 4 really strong minions in the front row, and even our back line is not too shabby, to be totally honest here. Yeah, the Mad Mim, because it received that Merlin buff, is just bigger than
the other supports that we can play. Gonna flip around my 2 vampires because sometimes I like the bigger one second, so that way it can maybe survive a combat from what my opponent's doing and then still go on for a slay. So gonna mix that up a little bit, excuse me, and see what we can happen. I believe, yeah, I thought the Potion Master was Red Dream. So it's Potion Master versus Merlin. Maybe that is our thumbnail there too, because we're both spellcasters. We both have 38 health, and there you go. That's why they're in the best. That's why they're the best in the world. 2 Queen of Hearts on 3.1 already. A really, really strong start. We could pick up a Queen of Hearts. Maybe that's what I want to do. Maybe I want to be like Red Dream and just pick up a Queen of Hearts here. I am thinking that if that is what I want to do, let's sell some other units so that way we can get this Merlin trigger to be a little bit more focused, because I'm assuming that I'm going to be casting this Mix-a-Wazzle here. Just debating if I want to hang on to this Mad Mim or not, but let's go ahead and say not. And then we flip that, and unfortunately, weird interaction there, but that doesn't awaken the Awoken Princess, and it also doesn't flip over the Lonely Prince. I will Luna's Grace it, which I'm not sure if this was the right call or not, because when you flip over a Mix-a-Wazzled Awoken Princess, it does stay that Awoken Princess. I think that's fine, though. It gives us more power on the current board, which is, I think, what the most important thing is. It does mean that we are going to not be able to get back our Wizard's Familiar, so it's not going to keep growing, but we've got an 18-17, so that's pretty strong. I'll grab a Brave Princess here to flip over my Frog. I'm surprised I don't put the Brave Princess in. If I'm not going to put the Brave Princess in, then I probably could have just taken Sherwood Sure Shot, but maybe well, you know, I guess the one thing here, I'm not using that extra gold, so what this actually does is it takes Brave Princess out of my pool, and now I don't have to worry about Brave Princess later in the game. So if that was the case, yeah, then I can see making that as the play, and now we just have the Frog. We've awoken, and we've flipped the Frog as well in this turn, so a few more stats here on the board. Lady of the Lake as a double is pretty good. It means that we're probably not rocking this Queen of Hearts strategy anymore, but it does seem good because these are mages and we are Merlin. And this is a great thing to throw your Merlin triggers onto. Excuse me. Getting a lot of yawn. This is my, you can tell by the shirt, this is like my 3rd video or something in a row in this recording session. So just going to need to take a little bit of a break after this one. Yeah, going to go for a Burning Palm, and there's a lot of different targets that I could go for. It's really tempting to just throw it on a Vampire so that they keep going, but I do think that the right call will be putting it on a Lady of the Lake, because that is a ranged unit, and my other Lady of the Lake gets the Merlin trigger. So now we have a decently sized ranged backline as well as a huge front line here. So yeah, this is looking good. I feel pretty confident about this one. Maybe I want to switch my Vampires, just abandon that second one until I triple it now, and just try to make sure that at least the first one is slaying, right? Maybe that would be fine. But I'm going to keep the Vampires like so, and we'll see if we are able to get them to connect at all. Decent odds that it does, yeah, and then this one should too, but it will die to the Chupacabra. So that's totally fine. Looks like we should still win this combat. That's actually a really good hit for us, because that means our ranged units get to attack a little bit sooner, and then we will kill the Trophy Hunter here, or just deal some damage to the Trophy Hunter. So things are looking pretty good. I do think Friendly Spirit looks pretty good in this shop. And that's just another thing that, okay, if some Merlins trigger onto Friendly Spirit, we are totally for that. Could take a True Love's Kiss here. Problem is there's not anything really great to cast it on, so I don't think that we are going to be making use of that. Could do a Gingerbread Party, pump up everything in the future, but not super excited by that one either. And then Could try to make a treasure happen here as well. That could be interesting. Could sell Brave Princess, buy the Witch, or just buy the Lonely Prince. I do think that it might have been better to try to get the whatchamacallit online, the I'm totally blanking. To try to get a 3-cost treasure. That's all I meant there. And that might have been better than Polywoggle. This is a small mistake here. I hang on to the... Oh, actually, both of my vampires are the same size now. They're both 6/6s. So this does not really matter. Playing around a little bit with the tree. I don't know if I love that. Just I want to play both of the vampires, but now that it's not supported, will it slay? It will not. So yeah, that's a little bit awkward, and the friendly spirit's going to grow the copycat, but we've got double supports on this Rotten Applewood. Unfortunately, we miss out on hitting the Rotten Applewood, and both friendly spirit triggers onto the copycat means that it's going to be tough to take that out, but we will be able to clear things out. I mean, 2 Lady of the Lakes both supporting a Rotten Applewood is just like a really strong comp and means that you've got decent staying power. Lancelot is interesting because we can actually get Lancelot to 17 just as the board currently sits if we put Lancelot in between those Ladies of the Lake. So we just have to find a way to give it like 8 more health, and that could be from friendly spirits, that could be from just a spell. So we're really close to triggering that Lancelot and grabbing a level 5 treasure, and there's some good things that could be. I wouldn't hate selling my vampires for Medusa or selling my non-pair. I guess all of my unit. It's impossible not to break up a pair here, but I don't hate Medusa just as a scammy little frontline unit there. And you can see myself and Red Dream are leading the lobby. I do think that Storybook Brawl is an interesting game because there's so much luck involved, but you do see the same players really come out on top almost every single time. Is some debate there for backlining the Medusa, but I think that this is going to get us more of what we want, and potentially this friendly spirit can trigger and go onto something and have that give us a little bit more chances of either slaying with the Lancelot or just pumping up these Lady of the Lakes, which is going to be how this one works out. So we get a nice little pump onto Lady of the Lake, 14-18. That is going to be enough to win this combat, and pretty good showing for us there. So still Red Dream and I at the top of the lobby, as all things should be, and this looks like a pretty powerful moment here. Oh, wow. I'm really surprised I don't take that Aeon with double Lady of the Lake. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Could pick up a tier 2 treasure here. It's not super exciting, but I do decide to go for it. We'll see what we are able to make happen here. And we actually get 3 really good treasures. I'm not sure if the conventional wisdom is to go for the Hermes Boots or the Crown of Atlas first. Also, Monster Manual, pretty good. But the thing is, Hermes Boots is just always going to be good, regardless of what you play. So that wound up working out pretty well for us here. I'm going to go for Burning Palm onto the Friendly Spirit, and we actually get an additional Merlin trigger there. So we are now, we're still 6 off on the Lancelot, but it's 6 health. So we need to find a way to give Lancelot 6 more health, and then we just get a level 5 treasure for free. Short of that, I think that our board is powerful regardless. And importantly, I meant to bring this up, but Hermes Boots is Kermes Boots is really strong with Medusa in your first position. So I think that I am pretty happy with that in terms of a pickup, and we'll see how much work these Ladies of the Lake can do. Give them your best, ladies. Give them hell. And that is going to be enough to win this one. Yeah, just because the Friendly Spirit is so likely to trigger onto these ladies of the lake, that winds up working out really well for us. Now, Fairy Godmother could be a way to make Lancelot work. We're also up against the Ghost, so that is an interesting consideration. No 5s in that shop for Masquerade Ball, so that is a little bit awkward. Looks like here I'm going to sell something just before picking up the Burning Palm. That's just to increase my chances on Merlin. But you know what? Yeah, I mean, let's actually throw in, I didn't sell the chicken, which comes back to bite us a little bit. But giving some additional attack to Medusa is really good because now it will actually get that kill at the start of the game. Really surprised I'm not going for these Aeons, but I guess we are just forcing Copycat. I mean, especially after I got those boots, I can definitely see forcing Copycat, but I'm surprised that I didn't at least try to go for the Aeon strat. But if there's just like a really good strat and you've got enough time to try to build towards it, might as well. So this is going to be another copy boy game, as we're seeing a lot of those on the channel, but excuse me, there you go. We are going to get our kill there, and then let's see where this friendly spirit goes to. Well, it's not going to go on that Lady of the Lake. Will it go on Lancelot? No, it does not. But Lancelot should be able to slay here regardless, so that is really sweet. And then it's just a ghost, so it doesn't really matter. So now Lancelot can get up to 21. We just need a few more stats on Lancelot or Lonely Prince. Sure, why not? 21. Yeah, this works. Okay, great. So we were doing the math. We were paying attention to it. I remembered this part of the game that I was paying a lot of attention to being able to turn Lancelot on, and it actually gets the Merlin trigger as well. So that is going to give us a basically free level 5 treasure, and not much more that you can ask for there. Could potentially see moving Friendly Spirit to the front, and then we will sell the chicken and just upgrade this Lonely Prince. None of these are particularly powerful. Could take the Dancing Sword because we're not doing anything else this turn. Dancing Sword is still some stats. It buffs up my ranged unit, buffs up my Friendly Spirits. Could see taking the Jumping Bean, but it's not going to be super useful for us, so I think I will go with the Dancing Sword. Oh, I'm going to go for a skip. Interesting. I don't know why I go for a skip here. That's a little peculiar. I basically, by skipping, just float 1 gold into my first turn on 6.0, but that's fine. Gargoyle, or Medusa rather, is not going to get a kill, but neither does their mummy, so Copycat is going to trigger, and that goes on to Lance, so Lance is definitely getting his treasure now. But we are also definitely losing this combat. Red Dream is huge right now with Sword of Fire and Ice, plus a Shoulder Fairies, plus a Staff of the Old Toad. So they are even going for glory against me. Pretty cocky, I always say. But we're able to pick up Monkey's Paw now, which is really great with the Copycat. So now if we can find some good boys, we're really going to be able to make some things work here. We move this to the back row. We put in the other Friendly Spirit so that way Copycat is just throwing around a bunch of stats, and it's going to be guaranteed to do so because we have the Hermes boots. So I'm feeling pretty strong at this point in the game. Looks like I'm going for this Robin Hood. Oh no, I'm just going for a spell because I'm Merlin. Okay, that is fair too. And then we find a good boy. So that's awesome. This is going to give us a ton of stats here across the board. Enough that we can probably even for glory. And then it looks like I'm going to pick up a second unicorn and potentially try to get a Crown of Atlas. I mean, we had the extra gold here in both scenarios. I think it's probably just better off using that gold to roll. I could also take this Friendly Spirit and put it in above the Frog Prince. That's probably better considering I'm guaranteed to attack first here. Maybe should have considered that, but once we find some more Copycats or some more good boys, we are going to be rocking and rolling. So that should just be our only priority. Things are going to get a little bit dicey this combat. We need them to hit this friendly spirit, but they do, which means that our Lady of the Lake survives and we are able to trade and not take any damage. So that one got a little bit close. We don't win the 4 glory, but we also don't take 9 damage. So that is pretty nice. Let's keep rolling. I don't know if I want 9 Sea Terrors. I think I just want some good boys. And you know what? That's a pretty good boy right there. I think that... excuse me. We have 2 options. We either sell our upgraded frontline units or we sell our unicorns. I don't think I want to sell Lady of the Lake because it is so close to making a treasure. Oh, but I actually do. Okay, so I break up the Lady of the Lake pair and just go for this. Really interesting decision point there too. Always whether you want to upgrade the good boy or upgrade the copycat. It's generally more stats to upgrade the copycat because then the good boy triggers twice and it's got exponential growth, even though it's only 2 triggers. But comparatively, just triggering it once with a double efficacy isn't as good. Now, it does also grow the good boy, right? It gives the good boy +2/+2. So that is somewhat relevant, but I think that it would generally be more beneficial to upgrade the copycat, but it can really go either way. It's tough to just say this one's right in a vacuum. Even in like not a vacuum necessarily, but on a particular board, because it's going to come down to what your opponents have and that kind of stuff too. So let's see, is Redraim able to take out the Miri? He is not. So the Miri is going to live. We're going to find an upgrade on the Unicorn, and there's nothing here for us. So it is very unlikely that there was going to be anything here for us here. But the Unicorn does pump the good boy. So like, arguably, it's a pretty decent unit. However, we probably just want the ranged unit. It's a little more straightforward. We should just be rocking that. And now the next thing, I just want to find some more good boys, some more copycats as well. And I don't think I'm going to put gold towards anything else. I don't think Robin Wood is good here because it just winds up pumping the copycat. So that is not super exciting. And I would also take a Friendly Spirit, though. Friendly Spirit would be something that we could play. Then we'll put the Unicorn in slot 4. I don't hate casting a Burning Palm, and I'm actually going to sell my Unicorn before I cast it, just so that way we can really maximize these Good Boy triggers or Merlin triggers and potentially get them onto Good Boy, is what I meant to say. Taking a Cinderella here, just so that way it stops showing up, I suppose. Not my favorite play there, but we'll get Cinderella out. I guess actually it's an easy way to make a 4-cost treasure, so that's kind of cute. We will be able to survive the dragon's attack here, but Redraim with this sword of the, or staff of the old toad, is just providing so much stats. Or it's not providing so much stats. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by what I'm doing. We had so much stats, and we were able to take Redraim out here. What I meant is they were able to have so many Shoulder Fairies and Echo Woods. So they definitely have a strong board there. We hit them for 7, but we've got some game to play. So let's keep rolling. Let's think about casting Genie's Wish, or this is actually a pretty good spell too. I just declined to pick up the chicken, or I should pick up the chicken after I cast the spell, just so that way the Merlin trigger goes elsewhere. And I think I'm fine with a Merlin's Test here as well. Just debating if I want to sell the chicken, and I do, because it is just so important that I get some additional stats onto this board that can be very powerful. Now, I am going to roll past the Echo Wood, and we wind up finding a good boy immediately afterwards. So things work out pretty well for us here, and pretty soon it looks like we will be converting to just putting the Friendly Spirits in the front and then running some backline good boys. But we do definitely want to find some more copycats to really get things rolling right now. I'll just purchase the Black Cat just to roll an extra gold into the next turn, but able to pick up our second or fourth good boy, depending on how you look at that here, is pretty good. That's going to add a decent amount of power to our board, especially because we can't buy evil twins because we didn't pick the Crown of Atlas. We picked the Hermes boots. That is where the Crown of Atlas will get more powerful if you have some evil boys. It is definitely good to pick that up. But we are kind of killing it here with this huge good boy and huge Lady of the Lake again, just being a large ranged unit to receive all of our buffs. And now we're in the finals, and it's me versus Red Dream. It's time to figure out who is the best Storybook Brawl player. I can't even say it, so it's probably not me. But we're looking pretty good here. And yeah, here's where I said, like, we can't really take this evil twin because it'll be an evil boy. So that is just a little bit awkward for us. We are going to full sell for it, though. I'm just finishing something up. I'll be done in 5 minutes. Okay. Do I take this? No way. Here's kind of what I was just talking about. There is an evil twin. And there is the evil twin in the shop here. And I really want to take this because I just want more good boys. But it is so tough to take it here because it's not going to be good with Copycat. And we're just so on that strategy. So I really think about selling my bench and picking this up, but I declined to do it right as I'm hovering over selling the Cinderella. That would have been the only one that I couldn't get back, and I've already invested some into the Cindy, so I declined to do that and actually roll into a pretty decent next shop with a Copycat and a upgrade here, a knighthood. So we are now going to change our board to be the following, and I still want to make use of the... Oh yeah, that's kind of interesting. How should you do that? I still want to make use of the treasures that I have, so it's a little bit awkward to figure out how I should align these units, but if we can get another Copycat trigger in there, it's a little bit awkward because I feel like we won't get it a decent portion of the time here, but it looks like we do get both Copycat attacks on this combat, so that is really good for us. And that is going to be yet another win, but only 8 damage. So 8 damage down to them. They found an upgrade as well. And we have to decide, do we want to upgrade our good boy again, or do we want to upgrade the Copycat? And the reason that we might want to upgrade the Copycat at this point is the Copycat now could potentially yield a tier 4 treasure for us. Now, the tier 4 treasures aren't that powerful, but I do think I'm probably going to go for the Copycat just because that is so much additional stats onto the board that I do want to try to consider that here. And I'll have a guaranteed attack right now of Copycat upgrade onto an upgraded good boy. That was an interesting board because a free treasure to cast for our Cinderella plus get a Merlin trigger off of it. A lucky coin can actually do a lot for you when you are Merlin. So I did want to at least consider it, especially as it was our 4th spell for Cindy, but not ultimately going to go for it. I am actually going to think about taking out my Copycat here. I think I got a little bit lucky that my Copycat was actually able to attack, but it's really tough to figure out what the ideal board position should be from this spot. So here we see the opponent has a Shrivel to definitely hurt some of our chances here, but upgrade Copycat, upgraded good boy is really strong. we're going to be able to deal with everything that my opponent has this turn, but you can see that they do have a Pandora's box. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with next turn, because we're just hitting them for 7. So we are not taking them out here yet. And we actually roll into another knighthood. So this is crazy. I'm going to throw that on the good boy. Interestingly, that definitely could have gone onto the copycat in our hand as well. And I'm just going to straight up skip that treasure. Yeah, nothing. What was it again? I know it was a noble steed and a secret stash. Huh. Kind of interesting. I think that some of those treasures might have actually been good. Specifically noble steed and secret stash, because we could have found a Hercules, which then would have given us a level 7 treasure, and we could have found a just the extra health points viable with the secret stash. But I'm ahead right now, so I don't feel like I need it. I don't know why I go for the... Oh, I see. Okay. I'm basically just looking for tier 2s at this point. I think that that's like the only real way that my board gets stronger. Lolnenko talks about this a lot on his stream, that there is just so many tier 2 treasures that it's probably not worth even trying to do this, but we give it a shot here. The big thing is that this first copycat is going to attack. Both of my good boys are going to get plus 24, plus 24. Then they're both going to get plus 88, and then they're both going to get plus like 100. Then they're both going to get like plus more than that. So it's up to the 1000s. It really doesn't matter. Like that we don't have that crown. It's just really important that we have the boots and that we're able to do it once. And we're actually going to hit Red Dream for a huge amount of damage here, 12 down to 2, but they've got a Holy Grail. So we do have to watch out for whatever they are able to put together next turn, because that could be a little bit scary. We could grab Hercules here, but this is probably the last fight of the game. So I probably just want to either grab this tier 2 treasure, cast some spells maybe, pump up my good boy. Does look like I'm going to go pretty hard for looking for this tier 2 treasure again. Would have allowed us to cast that evil twin had we had access to it. And then I guess I just go for spinning gold. No, it doesn't really make sense to do that, because it'll just go onto one of my backline things here now. Let's sell the chicken, I think, and try to find a prince. Maybe we could cast this fireball, and we actually find the prince. So let's sell the unicorn, buy the lonely prince, and do we find the crown? No, of course we don't. I could take this dancing sword here, but like I said, all this stuff is just kind of irrelevant. So let's just skip. I think I wind up selling the Lonely Prince, casting this Fireball, and then rolling twice. Yeah. So Fireball goes on to that. Oh, and I pick up the Crafty. Yeah, again, I don't think that this is the best use of our time. We're just wasting a lot of gold. And Red Dream is actually building something. They just had a Holy Grail turn. So they are potentially not wasting their gold. And let's see what they have come up with. They've come up with a Mimic Chest. They've come up with a double cast treasure, and they've come up with a Pigomorph. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why Red Dream is the #1 player in the world in Storybook Brawl. They were rated first place in the world. This game took place during the month of November, and they kill us on their way to the top. Very fantastic performance by them. You can see they just put together some absolutely wonderful things there with the Cupid and the double cast. So I couldn't even be mad. I actually reached out to Red Dream after that game and was just like, man, that was fantastic. They weren't streaming it, unfortunately, but check out their stream there, twitch.tv/RedDream, I believe. Yeah, just absolutely fantastic stuff there. I thought that was pretty funny, and I said at the very least, you know, now I can clickbait that I lost to you, that you were able to pull off some absolutely fantastic stuff in the last combat, and we were just kind of getting a little bit stale there. I mean, we definitely had a really strong comp here. If we're only going to have 2 different or 3 different pairs of units, these are the ones to have. This is a really strong board, but unfortunately, Red Dream was able to outdo us. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.